This is the Parenting Power Up video series, number 1 of 20, the 4 principles of positive parenting. Welcome to the Parenting Power Up video series. I'm Dr. Paul Jenkins, a child and family psychologist, and this is...
I'm Vicki Jenkins. I'm a speech-language pathologist.
We've worked for our entire career with children and adolescents and families and parents. And we've learned a few things, right?
Yeah.
This series is the video version of a program that we put together probably almost a decade ago.
And we've been coaching parents for much longer than that.
What it comes down to is principle. And when we talk about principles, it's all about natural laws. Like gravity, for example. Do you ever get up in the morning and think, I wonder if gravity's on today? It tends to be.
Right.
And these principles of positive parenting are some that we have found through our career, through clinical experience, to be the foundational principles that every parent needs to know.
And we have 4 principles we're going to share with you today. We'll go into more detail, of course, as we go through the principles and the rules that kind of go along with them. But we want to just give you that overview of the 4 principles today.
Now, the first principle of positive parenting is that parenting is first about personal development.
You know, I heard something, I'm trying to remember who said it, but I heard something about the product of positive parenting is the parent.
Oh, it was Dr. Anderson.
Right. A lot of times I think people think, I'm going to do all this positive parenting and I'm going to get this product of a perfect child turned out exactly as I want them. But really what it is about personal development and who we become as a parent.
I'm remembering that conversation, Vicki. It was Dr. Lily DeHoyos Anderson. And I was interviewing her on my podcast. That caught my attention too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times going into parenting, we're thinking, okay, what can we do to fix the kids?
To change this child.
Right? And a lot of parents realize as they get into positive parenting, it's kind of about me.
Yeah.
And that stings a little sometimes. But it's kind of like, do you remember a time when we were driving in southern Utah? And probably you've done this at some point too, where you get lost in your thoughts, you go right past your exit. And I did this. I was driving, and I knew I was in the wrong place when I saw that sign. Arizona welcomes you. This is a whole different state. If you know the geography of southern Utah, it's right next door. But I had missed my exit. We're in the wrong state. And I look down and I see whose hands are on my steering wheel. Which bites a little, honestly. It's like, I'm here because I drove here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that when we talk about parenting being a personal development adventure. You're going to see your own hands on the wheel. And if it stings a little, that's okay. Just stay with us because there's more to come.
Well, there's empowerment because that means you can turn the car around and go where you want. And that's where the personal development is. It's really empowering of how I can show up as a parent.
It's kind of like the bad news is also the good news.
Right.
Because if my hands are on the wheel, like you said, Vicki, we can take it anywhere we want to go.
The second principle of positive parenting is that you work as a team. And this team can look very different. There is a parenting team that you want to put together and lean on them for some support. So what are the kinds of teams we might see?
Well, obviously, if you're in a marriage, your spouse, your parenting partner is the number one person on your team.
But there's a lot of people who don't have that spouse or that partner in it. And so that's where we're talking about you want to make a parenting team. It might be a parent that you have in your life. It might be a close friend. It might be a sister that you can rely on to help you. Somebody to bounce ideas off of, somebody to help you see things the way that is a little clearer and out of your own head.
Do you remember I used to have a t-shirt that said it takes a village to raise a child? And you've probably heard that phrase before. This is getting into that team mentality. You don't have to do this alone. And as you look around yourself and see who your parenting team is, who helps me with childcare, who helps me to keep me up when I'm feeling down, who helps me to cover the necessary tasks that need to happen as a parent. And Vicki, we get to be on your team.
Yeah.
How awesome is that? We are now on your parenting team. So let's do this as a team. Remember, all 4 of these principles will go into detail throughout this series and give you some very practical steps that you can take to make sure that these principles are the foundation of your parenting. Principle number 3 maybe should be principle number 1. I don't know. We just picked some order for these. I'll tell you why it's so important after I share it with you. Principle number 3 is that positive parenting is all about unconditional love. You'll see in the next video, as we get into your job as a parent, why this is so very important. Here's a little disclaimer. We are going to be sharing some parenting tips and tricks and tools and strategies as we go through this program. Any of those that we share with you are simply manipulation. If you forget this principle, because it's about unconditional love, and as long as that's where you're coming from as a parent, you're going to get some phenomenal ideas. We're going to share some really great strategies that you can apply to help with behavioral problems, for example.
And I think we'll even give you some information that will allow you to challenge maybe some of the ways you've defined what unconditional love is, or other topics that we talk about.
Well, and as you say that, Vicki, a lot of times we think about love as a feeling. Mm-hmm. And you and I both know there are times when you're not feeling that, right? If you're frustrated or angry or resentful.
Or tired.
Fact, here on the channel, the #1 video over the past 4 years on this channel is how to get your kids to listen without yelling.
Right.
And why are we yelling? Because we feel frustrated.
Right.
Frustration, anger, and resentment. So you're not necessarily feeling very loving at some times. We'll give you ideas on how to handle that as well. But that unconditional love has to be at the foundation, or everything else that we share with you is simply manipulation.
The 4th principle we'll talk about of positive parenting is that it's all about stage and not age. And that might sound a little bit different to people. We're going to go into this in a lot of detail in one of our next videos. But it's about kind of where the child is in their moral development, more than what the chronological age they are.
We will share with you a powerful model.
Really powerful.
In fact, this is in video number 5 in the series, where you will learn what every parent has to know about control and maturity. And just to give a little preview to that, this comes from my experience as a clinical psychologist. Do you remember years ago when I was on a team to create a program for juvenile delinquents? Do you remember this?
I do.
And that's kind of a harsh term, perhaps, but this is how the court was defining it. These are teenagers who were referred through the court for ungovernable or delinquent behavior. They'd gotten into trouble with the law. And our idea was, can we keep these kids at home? See, a lot of times they get pulled out of the home, they get sent to a facility, a wilderness program, or even incarcerated.
Right.
And they tend to make improvements in those closed settings, right? They're not about around their friends or doing the same things that they normally did. But we had to come up with a model that would work within a family. And that's the one we're going to be sharing with you. That's coming up in video number 5. It's all about stage, not age.
We're excited to share these principles with you and hope that you enjoy the journey with us. Take some time to subscribe now to the channel and watch that playlist. That way you won't miss anything and you'll be able to improve your parenting and parent with positivity.